What's up, guys? It's your boy Yeet here, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm coming at you with something special. I'm coming at you with my new Murakumo deck. Yeah, that's right. We took out Mandalore, we scrapped it, and we picked up Yasuie from Butterfly, the Butterfly set, Butterfly the Moonlight. I have seen a lot of Yasuie decks going around on the internet right now. Some that play an absurd amount of grade 3s aside from the Yasuies, like Shiryuki and that one-eyed giant. I've also seen lists that play the new grade 1, grade 3 searcher. And in my opinion, after thoroughly, and I mean thoroughly, testing this deck, not just out of locals, but on Cardfight area and through my friends as well. I truly believe that the people who are playing Yasuie with the absurd amount of grade 3s, that grade 1, grade 3 searcher, and some of them who don't even know what the heck they're doing playing the Weasel build because they don't know how to play Vanguard, are playing Yasuie incorrectly. You can agree to disagree. You can say, oh, this guy just doesn't have enough money. Wrong. I truly did. I could have spent a lot of money to finish this deck, but I didn't need to because after testing and thoroughly testing, this is the deck that I came up with. And this deck is what you like to call power and board making. What I mean by that is this deck, with the ability of Yasuie's skills, have the ability to create a huge giant board. At the same time, you also need to get advanced on power. And front triggers aren't just going to be the only way of doing that. Sure, you could run crits, but front triggers are much better because you're going to be making a big board. But if you only have front triggers, you're not going to have enough power to block the amount of attack, the amount of power that your opponent's Vanguard is going to have. Decks like Alt Mile and Chrono Jet and Narukami really ruined this deck. And the way I learned how to counter this was applying bigger pressure with bigger amount of powered units. I'm going to show you what I mean by that, and I'm going to let the deck profile explain it itself. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and consider leaving a like and subscribe. And before I get into the actual card deck profiles as well, I do want to quick mention the gift marker options of the deck. After testing, I found that actually both gift markers have an advantage, their own different advantages against different decks. So I made this deck compatible with both Imaginary Gift Axel 2 and Imaginary Gift Axel 1. And I will, in some matches that I played, I've alternated between the two, and it was beneficial to both of them. So it really doesn't matter which one of them you choose for this one. This is the this one is Excel 1 is used more against bigger, like, how do you say this? Bigger hand decks. What I mean by that is if, like, I'm facing Tachikaze or another deck that... What is another deck that draws ridiculous amount of cards? I don't think Shadows do. But basically, it's something like Tachikaze, which one is a really good example. It has big hands, okay? So you want to blow through your power as often. So Excel 1 gives you more power to bust through more of their triggers. Excel 2... the one that's commonly more used, is used in this deck to, well, if you know your opponent's going to come at you aggressively, you want to also come at them aggressively a little bit more, but have a lot more defense. And because Yasuie, which you'll learn soon, Revelation Yasuie's Force Auto skill requires it to discard 2 cards in order to Superior Ride. And XL2 not only gets you access to that card, but it also provides a little bit of power on the ground. So it really is dependable on how you are, on what your type of deck your opponent is going to use. And yeah, you won't know it until you actually into the fight. But if you're in a tournament and you can't change your trigger to change your imaginary gift, just stick with Axel 2. It'll be the safest bet. And also the quick shield you are using is going to be Blitz Order, which is the one that's going to add 500k to a unit that's being attacked. All right, on to Yasuie. Of course, for the grade 3s, we are of course starting off with 4 copies of Stealth Rogue of Revelation Yasuie. Stealth Rogue of Revelation Yasuie is one of the two new Yasuie grade 3 units. It has, of course, all of my grade 3s have the imaginary gift Axel marker. And Revelation Yasuie skill is Vanguard Act turn 1 turn. Counterblast 1 is Soul Blast 1. Choose 2 of your units. It does not have to be just rearguard. 2 of your units. Could be Revelation itself. Could be, or any one of your rearguards. And search your deck or drop zone for up to 1 card with the same name as each of those units and call them to your guard. And if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. So you could call 1 from your deck, 1 from your drop zone, both from your drop zone, both from your deck. It doesn't matter. You can call up to 2. And then its auto skill, which is the one I was just explaining, is Vanguard at the end of the battle that this unit attacked. Required is auto, so it's not like you get a choice, it's auto. You discard 2 cards from your hand and ride an Ambush Demon Dragon Stealth Rogue Yasuie Tenma from your drop zone as stand. So you ride it as stand. Yes, you get access to the Excel marker as well. Again, after you superior ride it. And then, unfortunately, the Yasuie Tenma that you superior ride as stand gets -1 drive. So essentially you're performing 3 drive checks as well. And speaking of Yasuie Tenma, that is the next grade 3 we are playing. 4 copies of Ambush Demon Stealth Rogue Yasuie Tenma. Yasuie Tenma has the Vanguard skill. Counterblast 1 and choose 1 of your units. And search your deck or drop zone for up to 1 card of the same name. Call that unit to rear guard. And if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. So essentially, instead of having to call 2 Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1 for 2 with Revelation, you're only searching 1. And unfortunately, when you superior ride Yasuie Tenma with Revelation skill, you do not get this skill because it is an act. It can only be performed during the main phase. But its auto skill, however, is actually one of the ones that also adds power. So when it's on rear guard and it attacks, it gets plus 10k until the end of that battle. At the end of that battle, retire this unit. So say you have only Tenma on your field, not your drop zone. Attack with Tenma first. It retires itself. So that way you get access to Revelation skill. And at the same time after you retire this unit, you choose one of your opponent's rear guards, can be anyone, front or back, and your opponent put that unit on the bottom of his or her deck. So you're getting rid of problematic units on the field as well. Stuff like Sweeper or Lever Roll, Blaster Blade, they all go away with all this card. And then on the last grade 3, we are playing for a little bit of defense, and I guess you can say it's a different way of offense as well, is the 1 copy of Fantasy Petal Storm Shiryuki. Even though she is no longer at 4, this unit is ridiculous for defense and offense and will still be played because this deck actually can afford to play Shiryuki, an efficient engine. That's it for the grade 3s, a total of 9 grade 3s. We're moving on to the grade 2s. Also, if you don't know Shiryuki's skill, I forgot to mention Shiryuki's skill. Shiryuki's skill is when placed Soul Blast 2, choose 3 of your Vanguard, Rearguard, Guardian Circle. When placed Soul Blast 2, choose 3 of your opponent's units in the front row and they get -5k into the turn. If it's on Guardian or Vanguard, they get -10k instead of 5k. And Auto Vanguard, when this attack does not hit, return a Fantasy Pet Storm Shiryuki from drops into your hand. That effect is pretty much useless because there's only one Shiryuki in the entire deck. Now, moving on to the grade 2s. First off, we're starting off with another card that comes from Butterfly of the Moonlight, and that is 4 copies of Stealth Rogue of No Masks. No has an H at the end of it, which is why I'm still pronouncing it as No. No Mask Awazon. So auto rear guard, when placed, you search your deck for up to 1 card, put it into your drop zone, and shuffle your deck. And this unit gets that unit's card name until the end of the turn. You may think this is a pretty useless skill, but actually this card is really, really one of the key cards in this entire deck. With whatever card you need. You want to get your Shiryuki really fast? Sure, dump Shiryuki. You don't have a Tenma in the drop zone, or you need Tenma? Well, go ahead, dump a Tenma. Or you can dump one of the most slept on grade 2s in the entire Murakumo day. That I'm surprised, like, everyone is playing like the superior call ones like Spellhound, or that new one, the other new one that came from Butterfly to Moonlight. But people absolutely slept on this one card, and it surprises the heck out of people, and it's because of this card that this deck actually can break through some of the most defensive heavy decks. So yeah, Noah Mask is essential. Now, let me show you that grade 2 that I tell you people slept on. In Vilas the Leader, they came out with this grade 2, and because everyone just slept on it because it's a common, it was like, oh, it has low power. No. This card is ridiculous. And this card is called Stealth Beast White Mane. So White Mane, yeah, 7k unit. Oh, this card's pathetic. It's useless. Wrong. Auto Rearguard. When this unit attacks, this unit gets plus 5k until the end of that battle for each other Stealth Beast White Mane on your rear guard and in your drop zone. Essentially, you can use Noah Mask's skill to dump this, get 5k, okay? You have another one on rear guard? Sure, add it. But essentially, once you have all 4 either on your vanguard, either on your rear guard circle or in your drop zone, you can dump them with Noah Mask, you can guard them, and then you could just even discard them with the next card skill. Essentially, when you have all 4 of them healed, each beat copy of White Mane is going to get an additional 15k. This unit on its own becomes a... Hold on, Matthew. Do quick maths. A 22k unit, and that's without an Excel circle. This unit is ridiculous and can on its own force your opponent to play a 15k shield at the minimum. This card is ridiculous, and it got absolutely slept on. The other grade 2, and the final grade 2 you are playing in this deck, is 4 copies of Stealth Dragon Midori Pyro. Midori Pyro was a essential grade 2 in old school Shiryuki, but I also found this card essentially helpful in this one as well. Though it's like a double-edged sword and very risky, when it pops off, it pops off. So auto skill, when placed, discard a card from your hand, look at 2 cards from the entire deck, and you can put 1 into your hand and 1 into your drop zone. This is really good. This card digs for your Shiryuki. This card digs for your other your other White Manes, so you can either add 1 to your hand or essentially fill up White Manes in your drop zone, or discard Tenmas. It's really just essentially just digging for your pieces of grades. It also can surprise your opponent by adding a perfect guard into your hand as well without them knowing. So it always keeps your opponent guessing, but what you're also really doing is securing power in your drop zone. So I really think Midori Pyro is a really good unit. If you don't like Midori Pyro, you can try out other grade 2s like Spellhound or the new grade 2 that comes from Butterfly of the Moonlight. Or you could even play Swift Archer Fushimi if you just even want more power, because Fushimi just gets 5k if you have 4 more units continuously during your turn. So that could be another option for your skill. But I truly believe that if you are playing the white main engine, or in general playing Shiryuki, you want to be at least playing 2 copies of Midori Pyro. So that's it for the grade 2s. There's 12 grade 2s. Let's go on to the grade 1s. For the grade 1s, like I said, you don't need that grade 1 that searches for a grade 3 when you place it and it looks like top 3 and also gets 5k. That's like $5 right now. However, you are playing the new grade, one of the other new grade 1s that come from Butterfly to Moonlight, and that is 4 copies of Wisteria Flower Stealth Rogue Takihime. So Takihime is auto Vanguard when placed. Look at 7 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 card with Yasuie and its card name from among them and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Mind you, again, this skill is only on Vanguard. But, and I say this with a big but, if it's not on Vanguard, which is on Rearguard Circle once per turn, when your Vanguard with Yasuie and its card name is placed, count out a +1 and choose one of your units, any unit, and call out to 1 card with the same name as that chosen unit from your drop zone to rear guard. This is really good. So if your Yasuie is ridden, let's just say during your, I guess it could be either during main phase or battle phase. You can essentially, I don't know, like make another white main column. You can search your, like, I guess discard with Midori Pyro. You could call another grade 1 for booster. You can even call another grade 3 Yasuie Tenma for another extra big attack as well. This card is ridiculous and can make more attacks come out of nowhere for your opponent and just apply huge pressure for 1 counterblast when your Yasuie is ridden. And it's really good. All of the grade 1s in this deck are 8Ks as well, so they're all really good boosters to make even bigger columns. And the next grade 1 is the reason why you don't need that grade 1 that's $5. And that is because you are playing 4 copies of Stealth Beast Million Rat. In the early games on the previous ways when Stealth Beast Million Rat came out, this unit was ridiculous because it applied huge pressure and it was just a free mill of the deck. I also think this card is ridiculous in this one as well. When the later games, Yasuie just applies huge numbers, okay? And your opponents might actually want to stop early game pressure. So the columns a Million Rat can make for easy early turns can actually ruin or increase your damage, so your opponent is forced to guard earlier than when you actually start hitting them hard, and then they just can't block. So I actually think Million Rat is a ridiculous card to be playing in this deck, and I actually think it is another slept-on card or a forgotten card. Because, yeah, everyone forgets the old school cards. Oh, the new cards are better. Forget the old cards. The old cards and the new cards still make better decks, you guys. So that's for the 4 copies of Million Rat. And then the last grade 1 is actually a familiar grade 1 for most people who play Shiryuki. 4 copies of Stealth Fiend Rainy Badam. To get re-access into your Fantasy Pelstorm Shiryuki, which you can easily just dump to the graveyard with Noah Mask, you can actually re-add it to the hand with Stealth Fiend Rainy Madame as well. So that's actually your only way of recovering it from the damage zone. Not from the damage zone, from the drop zone. If Shiryuki ends up in the damage zone, your only hope of getting it in the drop zone or back into your, I would say back into able to get access is with a heal trigger. Otherwise, it's pretty much out of the game. And then Rainy Madame just becomes an 8K. That's it for the grade 1s. Again, that's 12. Now to explain my trigger lineup. For starters, we are playing 6 front triggers. I absolutely believe front triggers are the way to go. But we're not playing like 8 or more than that. Because, yeah, we want to see front triggers. But at the same time, we also want to make sure we have enough cost in our hand to secure for Revelation Force skill. And we also want to make sure we can make a bigger board or have boosters for that big board as well. So even if we want to have power, we have to be able to balance power and we have to balance hand. And this deck, yeah, you can try like 7 front and 5 draw. Or you could even risk it and try 8 front and 4 draw. Just make sure you have a way of securing that in your hand. If you know you're going to be playing XL2, maybe it is okay for you to play 7 front, 5 draw, but I would not go less than 5 draw because I actually believe that the draw triggers are make a really good use in this deck. But even though you go through your deck really fast, like you would go with the quick gauges with Tachikaze, this deck has insane power and can really push through with strategic and has a lot of ways. Narukami does really ruin this deck though if they start binding your drop zone, and that is what actually this deck's main weakness is Narukami. Aside from the 6 front, like I said, we are playing 6 draw as well, and 4 of those are your 4 draw PGs of Stealth Beast, Levias, Mirage as well. And then after that, sorry about that. After that, of course, we have 4 copies of 4 heal triggers of Stealth Fiend Yakihime, and then finally your grade 0 starter, which can be any grade 0 Murakumo starter. I personally play Cat Devil. Some people play that Naruto-looking Toad unit as well, or then even the new one that's there as well. But anyways, as long as it has the quick shield and it's a grade 0 Murakumo starter, you're good. That's it for the deck profile. If you guys enjoyed this deck profile again and are new to the channel, do me a favor, leave a like and subscribe. Comment what you think about the decks, because I actually like having discussions about this deck as well. I also like seeing other people's reasonings for how they play Yasuie as well. Yeah, just comment what you think about the deck, and actually what kind of decks you're playing from Butterfly of the Moonlight as well, because I'd actually like to do that. So, yeah. This is Yaboy Yi signing out. Have a good day, and I'll be sure to answer any questions down below. Alright, have a good one.